Are you tired of endless support emails and phone calls to the office? A well-built customer portal can save you 80% of the time you spend on those calls. Let the computer handle it for you. That's what it's there for. I'm Matt. I'm a fractional CTO, and I have 25 years of experience, a lot of which has been in developing customer portals. I'm going to show you why customer portals matter and how you can benefit from them. So real quick, what is a customer portal? Customer portal is anywhere a customer can log into an account, say for your business, and they can manage their account on their own. It saves calls coming in, it saves requests to the office, and the customers are happier and your support staff is happier. Benefits are, real-time access 24/7. You don't need to wait for business hours. The customer doesn't need to wait. They can handle it right away. They can do it when they're thinking about it. If it's 3 a.m. and they can't sleep and that pops in their mind, oh yeah, I've got this bill I need to pay or whatever, they can do it right then and there. It also takes a workload off of your support team. If you have any questions or want to chat about customer portals, how you can benefit from them, go ahead and book a call with me. I'd love to chat with you for 15 minutes and see how I could help. Okay, here are the top benefits for businesses with a customer portal. The first one is obvious. It's incoming calls, the support tickets, emails, things like that. It lets the customer manage their account themselves. Password resets and things like that. Sometimes those still come through, but it's usually just a mistake on the end user side. Once the system has been tested and we know that password reset works, it just works. But sometimes people will kind of make a mistake, or they'll forget their secret answers, or they didn't get the text if you're doing multi-factor authentication, or they lost access to their authenticator app or something like that. Or if you're sending an email, it might have gone to junk. All those types of things are not system related. They are all process related. So those can easily be handled. You could even put a little blurb on there, check your junk email folder for your password reset instructions or something like that. Another item is frequently asked questions. I don't really see that too much anymore, but maybe something better is contextual help. For instance, when they're resetting their password, you have a little blurb at the bottom, check your junk mail folder, things like that. Another benefit is streamlined order management, payment, and scheduling. So that's really handy when you're doing a service-based where something needs to be scheduled. So you're selling a service-based service, and you have to have a person go out there. For instance, we worked with a telecom company. They provided internet access, and sometimes a person did need to go out there and be on site. So we integrated with their scheduling system, and it was all automated, and it saved the customer headache, and it saved our client a ton of time. The third one you may not really think about, but it's data analytics. So you can gather data, what users use which pages, which features, and what buttons do they click, and things like that. You can gather all that information, and then you can make better decisions down the road. For example, if the online bill pay or whatever, what if that is really not being utilized? Okay, well, what can we do to either drive traffic there, or what can we do to focus on other areas that are utilized so that we can improve those even further? Another benefit is the ability to cross-sell or upsell people, or even downsell. If your tier 1 product is too expensive for them, then you can go to a lower tier level option for them. That can be done automatically. If they have a cart and they abandon it, you can send them an email if you have their email address, or you can pop up a little notification saying, hey, you have something in your cart, and then you can offer them a lower value item for them to buy. Then you at least have a customer. All right, what are some essential features for a great portal? The first thing is it has to be a great user experience. Mobile first is a must. Way back in, when was that? That was like 2006. I worked with an organization. They do live events and sports, and we built this portal for them, and we assumed that everyone would be on a computer, because I'm always on a computer, but they weren't. They were out at the event wanting to sign up, wanting to pay a fine so they'd be eligible to perform in the event. We did not do mobile first. Mobile first wasn't really a thing back then, but we had to work hard to make sure that it worked well on mobile. moving from things that are tables, things that are based for a computer. We had to eliminate those and try to make it a little more fluid with the layout and provide a better user experience. Nowadays, that's super easy because everything's all built in. Everything's mobile first anyway. You have to work hard not to have it work well in mobile. Second thing is real-time customer support. You can have real-time order status. They can log in, see their order, see the status of it. If it's like that internet provider, you can see, all right, order's been received, and then, we've scheduled your technician, we've assigned a technician, and your date and time is this window, and you could even have live updates of, so-and-so is on the way. You'll be there between whatever time and whatever time, and that would give them a much better user experience. You can even send texts to them if they want that and agree to that. That way, they're always up to date. Sometimes it's not about how long something takes, but how communicative you are when there is a delay, or if it's going to be early. If they're expecting someone between 1 and 3 and the guy shows up at noon, well, that's not really going to do them any good because they might not be home. Another benefit is secure document sharing, and you can have like a real-time chat with an agent or a bot. And then if they still have further questions, you can transfer the chat to an agent. That's one way to kind of keep things automated as much as possible and still providing good customer service. Sometimes I hate those chatbots because they're not smart enough. They don't do anything of value for me. You got to find that balance between reducing the time your customer support representatives take and providing value to the customer. And another benefit is easy integration with existing systems. You can integrate with your CRM or your ERP, billing and scheduling like we talked about before. Here are a few real-world examples. One is an insurance portal. I talked about on a previous video, the insurance claims entry application. That same client, we built them a customer portal and enhanced it. They had an existing one, but we rewrote it because it was out of date and clunky, and we made it much more user-friendly. We made the user experience much better. There was a lot of complexity because in a policy, you could delegate to different people that are insured. So there's a lot of complexity, but the customer could manage all that once we got that complete. They could pay their bill online and things like that. Sign up for autopay. That everyone loves autopay. I love not having to worry about things that come out of my account every month. Another area is support centers. If you have tech support, you already have a ticketing system or even customer support. So with that support, you'll be able to benefit with a customer portal because they can log a ticket right in their customer portal. They say, I'm still having a problem. If you don't have a chat feature, that's the best way because then they can get their problem answered or resolved right away. Otherwise, let them log a ticket, and then that can go into your ticketing system. The benefit of that is the customer support reps can then focus on the complex things if you offload some of that to a chatbot or some documentation for the customer. Another real-world example is B2B portals or even e-commerce where the customer can track their order, shipments, invoices. They can self-service their account. They can, think of Amazon. I have an order that I made and it's going to be late. I can cancel that order before it arrives and everything's good. I talked about the live events /sports client. We have 2 in that space, and the other one, they didn't have a customer portal, so we built one for them. And the customers love it. They can log into the portal, and that is the only way now that they can enter events. The system will check to make sure their membership is valid and they don't have any outstanding fines or fees that would make them ineligible. And then if all those criteria are met, they can enter an event. It's super handy, saves a lot of time. Before that, they would call the office for every single event. And since these events are on weekends, guess what happens Friday? They're calling all day long. So they just had several people that would take calls, field calls, and now they don't have to have anyone do that. There are still a few calls that come in, but they're one-offs. If they think they should be eligible when they aren't, things like that, or a payment got applied to this, but it should have been applied to that, so they could be eligible, things of that nature. It greatly reduced the headache for the office. All right, so that's what a customer portal is, and some benefits, some real-world examples. How do you build it? first is to gather requirements. The main thing you need to do is use data to build your requirements. Don't use what someone thinks. Use data. So if you don't have data, start logging data. For example, if you have a lot of inbound phone calls, even if it's a small team and you have to have a shared Excel spreadsheet or a piece of paper, they can count the number of people that called, what they were called about. And from there, you can get some information on what your customer portal needs to do for them. The second aspect is to make a mobile-first design, lay it out, get a good designer, a web designer or a graphic designer to help you lay out that and have a good user experience. We want it to be fast. We want it to be mobile first. And if you're doing a mobile app, look at a technology where you can also build a web app. You can share that code base. That would save you a ton of time. And a lot of times these days, you don't really need an app. The app is usually just a wrapper for the website anyway. So that's something to consider. Save you some money, save you some time in development. Then you need to choose your tech stack. There are a lot of no-code options out there. Vibe coding, it's getting better. For simple things that would work, or for an initial MVP, a minimum viable product, that might be good, or maybe even a prototype, which is a little bit lower level than an MVP. So work with your development team first. Don't just pick a random vibe coding tool that they can't support. Pick something that will be useful and something that will support the tech stack that you already use. And then after that, you launch it, you set it free and let it go and let people provide feedback to you. Phased rollout is always good. Have some pilot testers, do a little pilot program and have a few users that can use the system that you have a good relationship with, and they'll provide you honest feedback. That's what you want. You want honest feedback. How does this work? What does it need? What doesn't it do? What does it do well? What does it do poorly? That's really important at this stage. All right, a couple pitfalls. Skipping user testing or QA, quality assurance, UAT, user acceptance testing. In the software development process, there are a few phases, and one of them is testing. We'll always have three environments. We'll have a dev/QA environment, we'll have a stage or UAT environment, and we'll have production. Those three environments give you flexibility. We can break the dev or stage or QA environment. No big deal. No one's using that. The stage or UAT environment, that is really important for the business to test. They have domain knowledge that the technical team doesn't have. They need to sign off on every feature to make sure that it works the way it should. And then once that's verified, then you can push to production. Skipping that is a big mistake. You don't want your users to be your QA team. That's going to give a very bad impression of your company, a bad impression of the app. They won't want to use it ever again. The next thing is overcomplicating the design. I've seen this a lot where you try to do too much. Look at the way a lot of things are designed now. There's a lot of white space. The text is larger. There's less on a screen. It's really clear what that screen does. So always keep that in mind. Keep things simple. The third thing is privacy and security. You need to make sure everything's secure. If it's a new application, make sure you have a team that will work with your cybersecurity team. You should do an audit against that new application and make sure it meets a certain level of security for you, because you could open yourself to liability if it's not secured. Along those lines, if you're storing any private data, that needs to be encrypted and secured even further. Don't ever store credit card information ever. That should be done through your payment gateway. So your website should just be a pass through to the payment gateway with the credit card information, and you don't store it, you just store a token. Like if you're doing recurring billing. The last little tidbit is always listen to customer feedback. Once again, use data. Don't fix things for the person that complains the loudest. Because if one person is having one problem and 5 people are having another problem, but that's one person submits 20 tickets, we don't want to just jump on this one ticket here. We want to look at all the other customers, the core problem that they're having. Now, they both be problems, but maybe you prioritize this one ahead of the one. So take a look at that. You always use data to make decisions. Don't use your gut feel. That's the worst thing you can do, because your gut is not always right in this situation. Customer portals are great. I've been doing it for a long time. They can really help your business grow. They can help reduce the cost of doing business. They can reduce the cost of customer acquisition, and they can create a better customer experience, which aids in retention. So think about those things when you're going down the path of a customer portal. Once again, there's a link in the description. Book a call with me. I'd love to chat with you on how we can help you with your customer portal. Build one, fix it, update it, develop a mobile app. I'm here to help. No sales, just chat, and we'll talk about tech and whatever you want about the customer portal. As always, thanks for watching. Like the video, subscribe, and I'll catch you again next time.